Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte, and today we are right on the Stockbridge-Lenox line, where for almost 90 years the Boston Symphony Orchestra has spent their summer vacation.
We're at Tanglewood today for Tanglewood on Parade, a day of celebrating the music that convenes in the Berkshires and the people who make up the community that the music comes to be a part of. With performances from the greater Berkshires community, including folks from marching bands and Berkshire Busk, a block party, storytelling, puppets, and fireworks at the end of a concert from the BSO. And the gates have just opened to bring the public into the festivities.
And to start, we'll begin with Mark Rillison, the Artistic Administrator for Tanglewood Learning Institute and Humanities, and Amy Aldrich, Senior Director of Patron Experience, who sees firsthand how this particular event connects Tanglewood to the greater Southern Berkshires community. Welcome back to the show, both of you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
This has become a tradition for the Fabulous 413, now Tanglewood on Parade. Of all the years that we've done the show, we have come for Tanglewood on Parade. So
yes.
We feel really lucky to be here.
We love having you here with us to tell people about what's going on and all the fun that's going to take place today.
Yes.
So what is all the fun? I rattled off a list. There's puppets, there's marching bands, there's a block party. Talk to us about what's happening here at Tanglewood today.
Tanglewood today is happening with the best of everything. It's really something that really showcases what Tanglewood's all about. Tanglewood is, I always say, Tanglewood's for everyone. It's not just, one kind of person that wants to come and listen. It's for families, it's for kids, it's for people who love all kinds of music, who love nature, who love everything that this place has to offer. And that is the beauty of today. And we are so fortunate that we've had this week curated, and today curated by Yo-Yo Ma, and his vision and his connection to nature and humans and music is something that we are beyond excited about.
I know our colleague Karen Brown caught up with Yo-Yo Ma over the weekend, but Mark, tell us a little bit about We the People and what Yo-Yo Ma has been working on and curating as in the lead up to Tanglewood on Parade today.
Sure. So this is part of a 9-day week that Yo-Yo is curating.
I thought there were only 7 days in a week. If you're Yo-Yo Ma,
well, if you're Yo-Yo, you can get 9 days.
Week 9.
If you're Yo-Yo
One
Ma,
more
you
than
get
the Beatles.
Yes.
Exactly. So we started on Saturday morning, August 1st, with we called it Parading to Tanglewood, a gathering at Bosque Mountain. And we had a couple hundred people on the summit of Bosque Mountain in Pittsfield with a whole cohort of performers. We had jazz singers. We had Chris Newell, who you're going to hear later on in this hour. We had Jennifer Kreisberg, who's going to be featured as one of the many performers on the August 8th concert. Let's see, who else did we have? We had Brent Michael David. One of his pieces is being played on August 8th. When we had alp horns. We had the alp horns played by our principal horn player, Gus Sebring, one of the members of the horn section, Rachel Childress, and then all 6 of the Tanglewood Music Center fellows. So we closed, and the weather was spectacular.
Makes me want a Ricola. Remember those commercials?
Exactly. Yes, I was looking for some product placement on Saturday.
Yeah, you got to get a sponsor out of Ricola.
Did not line that up or nail that down, but the future is bright.
We'll
we
work
can
with
try
you for
again.
the next one. Yes.
And then later on Saturday we went down to Berkshire Busk in Great Barrington, and we got invited to kind of crash their party. And we had performers from Kids for Harmony, a fabulous local organization that is built on the El Sistema model and that is based right out of Pittsfield and part of the 18 Degrees organization. And they played music. I think they were supposed to come with 10, and they brought about 35. So it was just an incredible amount of energy. They joined Yo-Yo for a little medley. And then we had Ida Mae Specker, who you're going to hear from later this hour, perform, along with a brass ensemble from, again, the Tanglewood Music Center. And then we had a saxophone quartet from the Boston University Tanglewood Institute, along with buskers that normally perform there. And the reason I'm listing all these groups and talking about all these things is not just to talk about how, this is this big, expansive, inclusive event that has lots of variety, but part of what we're doing with part of what Tanglewood on Parade was meant to do was to share with everyone all the different things that take place at Tanglewood across the summer. So it is the summer home of the Boston Symphony Orchestra. That's why we're always thrilled to have BSO players featured in what we're doing. It's also the summer home, or the home, of the Tanglewood Music Center, which is our training academy for the best of the best in instrumentalists beginning their careers who come here to get even better. And then we have the Boston University Tanglewood Institute. They're housed, or they're based right up the street, but they do a lot on our campus. And they are high school students who are, again, extraordinary musicians of the highest level, and they're on their way to greatness. So we have all these things going on, but we're also about having fun here. And we have all sorts of incredible activities planned throughout the afternoon. And I'm going to probably toss back to Amy because I feel like I've been talking forever. But we've brought, buskers here on campus.
I love it. It seems so reciprocal where,
Right.
you brought
Yeah.
Yo-Yo Ma out to Berkshire Busk, which must have blown everybody's mind to be
Yeah.
like, is that
Is it
really
on the
Yo-Yo?
corner?
Sure.
Yeah.
Playing on
The
a
same as like when people were in his vaccination site and got
Oh, yeah.
to see him play.
I know, that's nuts.
Exactly.
But then
Just
they're
jump-
here. The Berkshire Buskers are here
The
too, right?
Berkshire
Yeah.
Buskers are coming this afternoon, and we have. This is so much fun. I wish everyone within the 413 area code and beyond could come and partake in today because it is such a fun day. We have a hot air balloon that will be here,
Nice.
tethering rides. We have, magicians. We have pocket circuses. We have aerobatics. We have crafts. We have instrument playgrounds. We have, a little bit of everything for everyone's taste, musical taste and fun level interest. This is something that is not just for kids. It's not just for adults. We have, something that really allows everyone to feel like they're a part of it. And that is the beauty of today, is that you can come and choose to do nothing and just sit on our beautiful lawn, or you can do anything and everything and stop by all the different things. We're going to have a square dance later, and that's going to be incredible. We've never done that on the lovely lawn at Tanglewood. These things are so fun. We've never had a Festival Latino block party here, and these are things that it is for everyone, and we want everyone to come and experience the joy that this place brings, and that's the beauty of it. It's not just one kind of thing. There's so much here, and we are so happy to be partnering with all these organizations and people and just bringing all this talent and goodness of community here today.
We're speaking with Amy Aldrich, the Senior Director of Patron Experience here at Tanglewood, as well as Mark Rillison, the Artistic Administrator for Tanglewood Learning Institute and Humanities.
Do you feel like this particular event really does shift people's perspective on how Tanglewood sits with like you mentioned, you've never had a black party. I don't think I've seen Festival Latino be a part of this. There definitely have been puppets. There definitely have been hot air balloons, and that's always neat. But is it hard to try and push your envelope to encourage more of the community to come and engage?
It is, and I think that's, I grew up in the Berkshires, and I didn't come to Tanglewood until I started working here in high school. And, I think that's the narrative we're trying to change, that you live here, this beautiful place is in your backyard, and we want everyone to feel like, it's something that they can be a part of. I love, standing at the gates and when people walk in and say, oh, it's my first time here.
Yeah.
That is an opportunity. That is a wonderful thing to welcome people in, to engage them, to make them feel like they can be a part of this, that it is this amazing, wonderful place for whatever reason you need it to be, and you can find that and be a part of it here.
Yeah, and I want to throw in a huge thanks to all of our community collaborators. Literally everyone we reached out to about this week said yes. Whether they're joining us today, whether they were with us on Saturday, whether they're coming up later in the week, everyone we invited to be a part of these activities and a part of this space said yes, and it's so gratifying to have that kind of buy-in from the community where Amy and I both live here. We're both residents of Berkshire County. And to have our community respond to the invitation from Tanglewood, which is, as you just said, these are not traditional Tanglewood on Parade type activities. We're bringing new people and new I said activities again, but new energy. And I want to mention that the really cool thing about what we're doing today, and we did this a couple weeks ago too, and this is something that Amy and I work on together a lot around here, is we have this giant over 500-acre campus and the big shed that holds 5,000 people and the lawn that holds another 13,000 people. But the experiences we're offering today range in sizes from very intimate things where you can hear Chris Newell, who's going to be on air with us in just a little bit, talking about his ancestry and telling stories by a tree in a very small moment, to the big shed concert that ends things, to the parade through the lawn tonight that's going to have, I don't know, by the time we put all the groups together, almost 100 people just parading around the grounds and through the lawn all the way into the shed colonnade as a lead up to the big concert with the BSO, the Boston Pops, and the Tanglewood Music Center Orchestra tonight.
Well, see, it's not just a clever name, Tanglewood on Parade. There is a literal parade that happens at the culmination of it. But what will all of these organizations, along with the Pops and the BSO, be playing tonight as the sort of the marquee final event? Do we know anything that's on that docket musically?
Well, it's going to end with the 1812 Overture, side by side, as it always has. It's actually opening with, I think I have my order correct, Beethoven Symphony No. 6, but in a change from what usually happens. It will be unconducted. And I suspect Yo-Yo will talk about this tonight, but if he doesn't, he's talked about it already, so I can share a little bit. This is him modeling democracy. When you have an orchestra play a piece that was written for 60, 70, 80 people, depending on your string counts, normally you have a conductor leading all of that. And in this case, there is no conductor leading it. The leadership is primarily happening from the concertmaster chair, the concertmaster of the Boston Symphony, Nathan Cole. But everybody who's participating in this had a democratic amount of input into the rehearsal process to get it ready and make it happen. So I know those two pieces are on there. I believe we're playing John Williams, Pops Laureate. Everyone loves John Williams. We're doing his, I think, Overture from the Cowboys. I'm trying to remember, is there Copeland on tonight? Sometimes I get programs conflated in my
You have
head.
a lot
So
on
you're
your
gonna-
plate,
You're going to have
Mark,
to go to
so you don't need to-
Tanglewood.org, and you can look up what the repertoire is in case
Well,
I'm
I think we got
getting
a
it
good
wrong.
idea, and that's so cool about the way that this Beethoven piece will be conducted or not conducted, and Yo-Yo Ma being kind of leading the charge behind that makes it even more exciting. We also give a shout out to our Tanglewood correspondent, Keith Lockhart, who's not conducting this summer because of his own shoulder injuries and things. So it's almost fitting that he's not here to conduct that because and that the orchestra will conduct themselves in that way.
Yeah.
Mark, we had you on back in the fall last year because you helped to organize more programming for Tanglewood that went throughout the winter. That is going to happen again. That announcement of who will be coming is slated for later this week, right?
Sure is. So Tanglewood Learning Institute, which I am lucky enough to be involved with and program, is the year-round home of Tanglewood. We don't stop. We have programming of September to May. We take a little bit of a break in January, but otherwise we go nonstop throughout the year. The season is going to be announced on Thursday, August 6th. I can't wait to share it with all of
Why
the people.
wait? Just tell us now.
No.
What do you want to know? I can just
Give
start
us one
listing.
highlight.
One highlight? You want me to pick just one? Season opens on September 18th. That's a Friday night with Mark G. Meadows. He's a fabulous jazz pianist. He's going to bring his quartet with him. He's also Cynthia Erivo's music director. So you can come here on August 21st, hear her with the Boston Pops, and then you can come back on September 18th and hear him with his quartet. So you get sort of two completely different experiences with an incredibly talented artist. But we've got lots of classical programming. We've got our BSO musicians coming out for TLI chamber concerts for 5 times this season, like we always do. BSL Holiday Brass is coming back in December. That is a local favorite. We are trying to build
That's such a
that.
fun concert.
It sure is. It's if you like brass players and brass players' personalities, and I sure do, don't miss it because we have a ton of fun. We have goodies after the concert. Some guy in a red suit usually shows up.
Ho, ho, ho.
Last year we added a sing-along.
Yep.
We just have a ton of fun.
That's great.
So much more I could talk about, but you just have to wait till Thursday.
And we'll have you on again to talk about it, and hopefully we'll be participating with the show as well as it continues throughout the fall and the spring here at Tanglewood. We've been speaking with Mark Willison, the artistic administrator for the Tanglewood Learning Institute in Humanities, as well as Amy Aldrich, the senior director of Patron Experience here at Tanglewood on Parade, the Lenox Stockbridge line. Thank you both so much for coming by, and have a great show today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Have as much fun as everybody else is having.
Yeah, the campus is buzzing into life.
Tanglewood on Parade.
A lot of fun.
Exactly. And now we'll meet some of the folks who will be performing on the grounds today as part of the festivities for Tanglewood on Parade, including Fiddler, Ida Mae Specker, Block Party leader Angela Palmer of Festival Latino, First Nation singer and storyteller Chris Newell, and Joanne Nelson of Lee Junior Senior High School, coordinator of all the marching bands that will participate today.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by the UMass 5 College Credit Union, dedicated to creating access to financial well-being for local people, businesses, and communities. Insured by NCUA, umass5.coop. The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Visiting Angels West Springfield, providing home care for seniors and veterans in Hampden County, including Angel Care, short-term post-surgery support for seniors and their loved ones. VisitingAngels.com/West Springfield.
It's the Fabulous 413 here on the grounds of Tanglewood for Tanglewood on Parade, their yearly tradition of bringing the BSO musicians, Tanglewood Learning Institute fellows, and the Greater Berkshire performers all together in one gigantic all-day community spectacle complete with marching bands. And here to talk about the many kids with brass instruments performing at Tanglewood on Parade is Joanne Nelson of Lee Junior Senior High School? It's
Middle and high school.
Yeah, middle and high school.
Junior and senior high school.
Yeah, right. Thanks for joining us, Joanne.
Thanks for having me.
How many schools' bands are going to be participating in Tanglewood on Parade today?
So we have students coming from 3 different schools, from Lee, from Monument Mountain Regional High School, and from Hoosac Valley High School. So Amanda Watroba is the director at Hoosac, and Jake Keplinger is the director at Monument. So we have 40 kids in total marching tonight.
It's summertime. Kids aren't in school. So how hard is it to wrangle these kids back to come and participate in a thing like this?
I am so impressed at the turnout that we had. We had almost every single kid who signed up last March showed up last night for rehearsal.
Oh, wow.
I was delighted. The kids are excited. They're energized. They're so excited about this.
Oh, wow, they have to sign up for in March for this.
We started planning this in January. Mark contacted me and said, Yo-Yo Ma would like, and I said, yes. He said, well,
whatever the next phrase is,
yeah,
we're going to
just
say yes.
the
to it.
answer is yes.
Yeah.
So I started talking with other band directors last January and finding out who thought they could get some kids over the summer, and we've gone from there.
How big is the band at Lee Junior Senior High School?
We were a very, very small school. So our high school for next year has 36 kids signed up, and our middle school has about the same signed up. But our graduating class last year was, I think, 38. So
Not a huge school.
not a huge school.
How much interaction are these kids having with the professional musicians here, either through the BSO or the Pops or the fellows that are here studying?
Usually, most of the kids only interact because they work in the parking lot, parking cars. A lot of kids, their first job is as a parking lot attendant. We try to get kids here over the summer. I've gotten grants over the years because kids don't understand that they're welcome here until they're here. And once they're here and experience it, they get it. Mm-hmm. But last night at our rehearsal, Yo-Yo Ma came over to say hello to the kids and take pictures with them. And everybody who works here has gone so far out of their way to make these kids feel welcome. Between Mark and Amy and Bruna and Anna and Zion, we've had all of these people supporting us from the minute we got on campus.
So cool.
Is there, what are you going to be performing?
So we let the kids pick one tune. So we're doing I Want You Back by the Jackson 5.
Nice.
And it was requested that we do When the Saints Go Marching In. So we're doing kind of a jazzy version of that. And then Mark contacted me and said, Yo-Yo Ma would like to end with, and I said yes. So we will be playing This Little Light of Mine at the end as we parade through the middle of the shed.
Where is, so you're the parade that is going to be bringing people into the shed for the concert proper towards the as things move into evening. Mm-hmm. How, far around the grounds do you get with the band? What's your route like?
We're going to see.
Do you have to play drum major, or is somebody else going to be leading them?
I'm kind of the drum major. The kids are pretty self-sufficient. They just need to know where to go. Right. And Bruna's going to be with us to make sure we get where we need to go on time. So,
we're speaking with Joanne Nelson, who is the marching band director for Lee Junior Senior High School. I was in marching band from 7th grade all the way through senior in high school. It was a refuge for me as a person. I was not a great musician. I was not going to go on to any greater things necessarily, but I'm imagining that, being amidst Tanglewood and these top-tier musicians of the entire world, perhaps you're recognizing the potential for some of these kids and the desire for some of these kids to want to be part of a next level of musicianship. Does being here at Tanglewood inspire them to maybe want to think about furthering their musical studies and going and doing this in college and potentially beyond?
Most of our students don't major in music, and that's fine. That's not something that everybody should major in if you want, money and health insurance. But a lot of them go on to play. We have a lot of our students playing in our local community band with adults. The level of playing in my school went way up when a lot of our kids joined our community band, the Eagles Band in Pittsfield. We have kids who go on to play. I have a former student who's leading her pep band in college. We have a couple of kids that have gone on to be professional musicians and music teachers over the years. But I think getting to hear this is inspiring no matter what they want to do, even if it's someday pulling their flute out of the closet and playing along with their kids when their kids are beginners.
Yeah.
The goal is for them to enjoy it for the rest of their lives in whatever capacity makes sense for them.
Yeah. And them being here is a good reminder of how music really does bring community together no matter the level that you're at. So it's important to be doing regardless.
And it's a good reminder, too, that there's no Boston Symphony without school music programs.
Yep.
None of the people on that stage started in a conservatory. They all started well before they got to the college level. So they may not have all started in their public school programs, but I bet a lot of them did.
Have the public schools locally that you're working with or at your own have been impacted by budget cuts when it comes to music programs? It always seems like when there are budget cuts, it's art and music that are the first to go.
I think that I was just talking with somebody this morning about this. Every high school in Berkshire County has a music program, has a thriving music program. We have a lot of great music teachers in this region who are doing incredible work with kids, and each school's program is a little bit different depending on the specialties and interests of the people working there. So I think that music education is alive and well in this region.
Sweet.
Do you have a main instrument that you still play?
I do. I'm an oboist.
Nice.
Yes.
So I do still play.
Do you get to play along with the kids when they are part of this program with the BSO today here at Tanglewood on Parade?
I won't be playing today.
Come on, just bust out the oboe.
Someone's got to lead them so they don't walk into trees.
Yeah. You can lead them with an oboe.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Joanne Nelson of Lee Junior Senior High School, who is leading all of the kids who are here as part of Tanglewood on Parade that will be performing with the BSO and parading in with Yo-Yo Ma even for this little light of mine. That's so exciting.
We're excited to be here.
It's wonderful that you get to be the actual parade. You're putting the parade in Tanglewood on Parade.
And these kids are marching band kids. I've always wanted to get them, the BSO to be, I'm going to put the word out into the world in case any important people here are listening. I do a march for the food bank of Western Massachusetts. I saw a food bank of Western Mass truck as I was pulling off the Mass Pike coming into the Stockbridge Lenox area.
And now that we do part of the march in the Berkshires,
Wouldn't it be cool if we turned the BSO into a marching band for one day?
The
where
whole
they
thing?
March along, not for the whole thing, but if they walked along with us on the food
I
bank
meant
march.
the whole orchestra.
Just a tiny little enclave. We did it with UMass marching band one time, so it was
That's
great.
true.
I'm a huge marching band fan, and I'm so glad that you're coordinating all these local marching bands along with Tanglewood here today. Thanks so much,
Thank
Joanne.
you so much
Thank you for
joining
having me.
us.
That's Joanne Nelson.
My pleasure.
And now we'll hear a bit of the music that'll be performed on the grounds of Tanglewood for Tanglewood on Parade. This next artist was picked to be a part of the Yo-Yo Ma curated We the People series that we've been talking about, bringing artists and thinkers together with the BSO for a week or a 9-day week, as we learned, that can musicians, audiences, and local communities to reflect on the core truths we share and imagine what we can do to strengthen them individually or together.
Ida Mae Specker is a fiddler, vocalist, songwriter, and educator from southern Vermont, blending original compositions with contemporary and traditional repertoire. She brings heartfelt new life to the living chain of American folk music. Performing alongside her father, legendary Vermont fiddler John Specker.
I think it's Specker.
Specker. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Not Spectre, that's a different person.
Yes.
John Specker. She carries forward a vibrant old-time tradition. Specker is also a recurring guest host on Vermont Public's folk and world music program, All the Traditions.
So thank you for being on our radio show.
Thanks for having me.
From one public radio host
family to another.
You get to do your radio show from your closet at home, we hear. So we have to go to Springfield to do it, but yeah.
Yes, and the show that I have subbed for in the past, unfortunately, was discontinued when Robert Resnick passed away. But they have invited me to do some things in the future on Vermont Public.
That's
so
great.
I'm excited to continue
Take
working
them
with
up
them.
on it.
I love Vermont Public.
Oh yeah, I say yes.
There's a lot of saying yes today.
Your dad is
We're
here,
for it.
right?
Yes, he's going to play a couple tunes with me today.
That's great. So maybe we should invite your dad over.
Would you like to hear a tune first?
Yeah, let's start
Yes,
with a tune.
please.
All right. This
There
is
was
my
John,
dad, John
kind of
Specker.
Right behind me.
We're going to play a traditional American fiddle tune called Lee Highway.
Is it named after the highway that goes through Lee that got us here? Where?
Not Lee, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
But yes, there's.
When you're on the Mass Pike in Beckett, you are at the highest elevation east of North Dakota, which is one of my favorite things to see every time I drive by.
As opposed to the actual Lee Highway in Arlington, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Come on.
Ah, yeah.
That was John and Ida Mae Specker playing here at Tanglewood on Parade. If the devil were here, he would have lost that battle. I just got to tell you, the both of you together playing so magnificently.
And
Thank you.
funny that you should bring up Copeland. Like, that song reminds me a lot of rodeo.
Yeah.
And like you can see where in American tradition he was lifting licks and ideas for like his pieces. So cool.
Yeah, it definitely harkens to the idea of the American spirit in the Old West, etc. But and John, we weren't expecting to talk to you, but we're very lucky to. You're an icon when it comes to this type of music. You grew up in Queens, though, right? So
Also in the Catskills.
yeah. So how did you get turned on to this old timey fiddle music, and then turn it on to your daughter?
When I was 13, in junior high school, they gave me a violin, and I was expected to learn something. And this was in the 60s, and couldn't do much with a fiddle, not with the Rolling Stones around.
Yeah.
And I wasn't into bluegrass. It was kind of a different culture to me. And then the old cartoons of the 50s, where they had hillbillies, if you can use that word, I thought maybe that's the music.
Yeah. Wow.
So I remember in elementary school, they had us learn Arkansas Traveler. So I got a book and learned Arkansas Traveler. And then I met a friend when I was in art school, when I was in 18. And he said, next time you go up to the Catskills to the farm, look up Danny Kornblum, because he's learning to play the fiddle also. So I went up there and met Danny Kornblum, and he was about 6 months ahead of me, knew about 8 tunes, and I knew 2. So he was a great master.
Well, let me interrupt you right there, because then you moved to Southern Vermont, and Ida Mae is, she's running toe-to-toe to you right there with the violin, the fiddle. So Ida Mae, tell us, is it something, the fiddle music, this type of old-timey music, something that you gravitated towards naturally, or that you felt kind of was part of the family tradition and had no other option?
Well, I will say I was never taught to play by my dad. And also my sister, my older sister, Leela, plays as well. So the 3 of us play as the Speckers. We got some violin lessons when we were really young. And I probably had lessons from about age 3 to 10. Very, loose, not like a rigorous program. I also didn't really take to classical music. In terms of the fiddle music, this is all the oral tradition. So this music is learned by ear. Growing up, my mom's a potter. My dad also helps in the pottery studio. So I really did grow up listening to my dad practice sometimes 8 hours a day, every single day. So it sounds like a silly thing to say, but I didn't really have to try really hard to learn it. With the technical basis that I got as a little kid, which I really highly value, now, even though at the time I didn't.
Yeah.
When I was about 15 or 16, I got good enough at a couple tunes for my dad to invite me on stage with his backup band at the time called Shout Lula. And those were really formative experiences. I was very embarrassed by fiddle music as a kid. My dad would drive me to school in the old station wagon named Fred, and with duct tape plastic on the windows, blasting, these recordings from 1928 that were originally, the original fiddle records of the early 20th century. It was very strange. It was really, honestly, we're so happy that old-time music and American folk music and bluegrass too are really being elevated now, and they're really catching on. It's wonderful. I think when I was a kid, it was just really not in a high point in terms of our cultural awareness of the genre. So I felt like it was extremely kind of freaky thing that my family did, but it was like another language that I grew up speaking. And I ended up going off to Brown University, and I always brought my fiddle around. I never took music classes. I took one songwriting class senior year. I've never really studied music, but I went out on the main green one day to practice a little bit, just for fun, and somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, that sounds good. Your bowing sounds a lot like John Specker." And I was like, whoa, I'm in total culture shock. Providence, Rhode Island is a huge city to me, and to me, this thing from home is like really like a nothing thing at this point. And I was like, whoa, like that, honestly, I hate to say it, but having a little outside validation from outside the family, because it was so insular growing up, really opened my eyes. And when I graduated with an anthropology degree, I went back, waitress for 7 years. I was really committed to being in Southern Vermont, and always teaching, always doing stuff with community and music. And about 10 years ago, quit all other jobs and have been doing nothing since.
How different?
Nothing else since. Also doing a lot of nothing.
How different does it feel playing with, like, so one of the cool things about being in this room that nobody on the radio, listening on the radio, can see is the looks between you and your dad when you're playing. Mm-hmm. There's something about playing with family when family plays together that is a little bit different than when you play with other people. Like, how do you feel about playing? Like, how has playing with your dad influenced the other places you take this music?
Yes, I mean, it's a great observation, and yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to explain. I guess it would be like if your family literally had a made-up language that you spoke, and you could go out in public and speak it to each other, and no one else really could understand it. I mean, there's the other side of it too, where like the joke between me and my sister anyways is like in a family band, if you're not allowed to break up, like bands break up obviously, but like
tell that to Oasis and the Black Crowes.
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
those guys.
But when you don't have the option of breaking, sometimes you like take a break for a few years, or no one got any gigs, and then you come back. There's just this continuity that you cannot. I don't know if you can have that with anybody else, and so there's been years where I've just played with my backup band, and my dad was like kind of retired for a little while, and we had kind of a big heyday about 20 years ago when we really started playing, touring around, going down south, playing at festivals. So it can ebb and flow in a way. But I think also what you're noticing is just something that happens between old-time musicians. Mm-hmm. These tunes are repetitive, and this is a form of trance music, and one of the major influences of old-time music is West African drumming and the rhythm, and that's why the banjo is the other sort of heart of the American string band. So this music, unlike bluegrass and other more modern composed form of music, is really meant to have a steady beat that keeps going and sends the listener into sort of a trance. And there's no beginning. There's a beginning, but there's no end. So you have to communicate. No one can count when you're playing. How many times have I played this tune? Over and over and over and over again. And then, yeah. So a lot of that is when you learn by ear and you play this type of music that's not arranged in our modern understanding of music. You have to be sort of communicating while you're playing. Even on the stage tonight at Tanglewood, we practiced so many times for this show, but those songs are still not really arranged,
But you'll be calling a square dance from the stage of Tanglewood tonight as well? Is that what's happening?
Yes,
I think it's a first.
We have a caller, Sarah Gibson.
Oh, so you don't do the calling?
I don't. I do call little dances here and there.
Yeah.
Especially during my children's music shows. I do that, but I love to play the fiddle and I love to sing so much. So it may be possible to do both. Maybe someday we'll find out. But we are very lucky to be working with Sarah Gibson. She's actually a former NHPR reporter and producer.
Oh, nice. We love all sorts of public radio people.
She's fantastic. She's from Shrewsbury, Vermont. And she'll be calling tonight, and she'll be calling a variety of types of dances. We're going to try to do a couple, structured dances, square dances, and then some really loose circle dances and spirals and just some fun stuff that no partner necessary. Anybody can come enjoy.
And we think it's a first for Tanglewood. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
we're
what we
hearing for
heard.
Tanglewood
Yeah.
on Parade. We've got Ida Mae Specker along with her dad, John Specker. I know Ida Mae is going to be at the Montague Common Hall playing for a contra dance there.
September 11th.
My kids love going to that contra dance. Do you think you have time to play us one more little thing before we let you go?
Yeah, I've got all the time.
All right.
Fantastic.
My call time is 5 p.m. Can I say a little bit about We the People? Or
Sure,
should
yeah.
I
Because
keep
you guys
it-
you've been working with Yo-Yo Ma for the past year-ish.
Yeah, yes, I have been. I just wanted to speak to sort of what we are representing in the context of this week here at Tanglewood. As I said, folk music is learned by ear. This is the traditional music of this continent starting when Europeans got here. So there is a lot of history. There's a weight to it because a lot of the music is about settling the land here. And indigenous music, African music, and music of the British Isles and Germany, the dulcimer, they all kind of came together to form traditional American folk music that really took root in the Appalachian Mountains. And just like democracy, this music cannot continue unless people participate in it. It is participatory, and it is person to person, so there is an inherent level of connection that needs to happen amongst people in order for it to live on and not become a museum piece, right, in the Smithsonian. And we're lucky that those recordings exist, because the folk revival wouldn't have happened without that. And it's in the public domain. So this music resists being commodified and commercialized in the way that real traditional folk music anywhere in the whole world does. There's no composers to these tunes. And it is a living artifact of the common people of this continent. So I feel like that is the way it all connects. And my personal passion at this point in my life is really making this more accessible to people and kind of giving it back to people in ways that are fun. And yeah, I'm super honored to be here. Very honored to be working with Chris. We premiered an original children's show yesterday or the day before.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that combines American folk music and Passamaquoddy folk music.
Let's hear something from Ida Mae and John Specker.
Thank you for inviting me.
Our pleasure.
All right,
Thank you for being here.
This is called Rockingham Cindy. We won't play it for too long.
Ida Mae and John Specker here at Tanglewood on Parade at Tanglewood. Thank you both so much for coming in and playing for us today.
That was
Thanks again
amazing.
for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Up next, we'll speak with someone else bringing stories to Tanglewood on Parade, First Nation singer and storyteller Chris Newell and Angela Palmer, president of the Festival Latino of the Berkshires, who are also at Tanglewood on Parade.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar in Hatfield, offering personalized solar energy solutions and ongoing customer care, proudly serving communities throughout the Pioneer Valley. Northeast-solar.com.
It's the fabulous 413 on the Stockbridge Lennox line for Tanglewood on Parade. And our next guests are some of the examples of the fantastic music-adjacent activities, as the grounds will see dance, puppetry, theater, storytelling, and a block party.
And here to talk about some of those offerings are Chris Newell, founding director of the Native American Cultural Program at the University of Connecticut and co-founder and director of education for the, correct me if I say this wrong, Akomawt Educational Initiative, and Angela Palmer, president of the Festival Latino of the Berkshires. Bienvenido. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
This is fun because, like, I feel like as we were mentioning with Amy and Mark earlier, like, this is something that we haven't seen as part of the community celebrations as much. So, like, Chris, I know you were brought in partially and part of the We the People project. What has it been like having your stories or telling your stories and working on new work, incorporating your stories here at Tanglewood?
Well, I mean, I think it's a new thing for Tanglewood in many ways. It's really the power of Yo-Yo Ma that kind of allowed that to happen. That's really what it is. He and I became friends back in 2021 when we did our first sunrise concert at Acadia National Park, and we became friends. We co-curated a concert in October at Dartmouth College in Portland, Maine called We Are Water. And that really led to this work with We the People. When Yo-Yo talked to me about this project, he really did not want to leave Indigenous voices out, because we're celebrating 250 years of America, but the history of this country and people living on this country goes back many more thousands of years. And, our relationship has really brought that out for him, and he wanted to make sure that was expressed during this week.
Angela, you're part of the Festival of Latino of the Berkshires. That'll be happening in September again?
Correct. September 26th is the last Saturday in September, and we'll be celebrating our 30th Hispanic Heritage Month celebration.
Excellent. And you're the president of that organization, right?
That's correct. Yes, I inherited from my mother.
That's great.
Yes.
That's the only kind of succession I like. In the We the People sense, I don't love it as much. But given that we're talking about We the People, you are also a parade artist and you're wearing a We the People lanyard right now. What does working with Tanglewood and this particular part of Tanglewood, the We the People and the Tanglewood on Parade, mean to you and your organization?
For our organization, it's just a huge honor. We were invited back in February, and it was an automatic yes. It wasn't even something that needed to be discussed because, as we know Tanglewood's history and we know Yo-Yo Ma's infamy in a positive way. Like, this is just such a great experience for us. And of course, we know that Tanglewood is fully, music oriented based, but the fact that they want to incorporate artists and dancers and our rhythms, it was, again, the best way I can say is an honor, and we're just super excited to be here.
They put you in charge of the block party. How big a responsibility does that feel for you?
There's not a technical block here, and I don't think they've ever done it.
That part, yes.
Well, a lot of back and forth, a lot of discussion that we had. But no, my people, my Latino people, and just the people of the Berkshire County in general, it's all word of mouth, right? So it started off, I was like, I could promise about 40 people. We're up to like 100 people who are going to show up at some point today. So it's definitely a big responsibility, and it's a weight of just trying to get everybody, logistically set up in the right place, in costume if they want to be in costume, or holding their flags to show their pride.
And will you be bringing your own musicians? Will some people from the BSO be performing, or how is it going to work?
We tried to bring in our own musicians. It didn't work this time, but we will be playing with, an equipo, a DJ, a speaker setup kind of thing, and playing our folkloric rhythms that way.
What are some of those rhythms that we might hear?
Oh, you definitely hear some cumbias from Colombia, Venezuela, Mexican cumbias, curulaos, and even something a little bit more modern. We're putting in some Bad Bunny in there.
Nice.
In there, yeah. A little bit of Daddy Yankee. Who doesn't, right? So,
just because I look like Mr. Worldwide, doesn't mean I can't love that.
Amazing. Yes.
Chris Newell, tell us a little bit about some of the stories that you'll be telling as part of this.
So I come from the Passamaquoddy tribe, and we're part of a larger group of tribes called the Wabanaki peoples, which is the people of the Dawnland. And I'm going to be telling some of the traditional stories from our territory. We have a common cosmology and a creation being named Glooskap, and a lot of lessons that he taught us along the way, and even some mistakes that he made that we can learn learn from. And, so I'll be bringing some of that to Tanglewood on Parade today. And then I'll be able to join in the festivities, which is a beautiful just blend of who I am. I love to educate. I'm an educator at heart. I also perform music. So this is kind of a mix of both of those things coming together at once.
Speaking of those blends, like we heard from Ida Mae that you have a new piece that you worked on with her, and it feels like We the People is a place where all of those collaborations keep happening or really encouraged to happen. What's it been like for you to incorporate some of your music and some of your stories into other people's mediums?
It's fabulous. Music is a universal language. For Passamaquoddy people, we believe in it as sort of a magical power. But when I say that, it's not the Harry Potter magic that we all think of in waving a wand. It's something that we all human beings experience. I mean, we just listened to Ida and her dad play, and the energy in this room was palpable, right? So that's the magic that we talk about in Passamaquoddy culture. And through music, we can come together and see how we're more alike than we are different.
The music that you're bringing with the Festival Latino of the Berkshires, and the music that Chris is bringing, and the music that Yo-Yo Ma is bringing all together, is there a mashup that is planned on happening for this parade that we know of like a big buffet-style mashup of it all? Is it
buffet-style mashup?
Well, I think that's what the intro parade into the starting concert at 8 p.m. will be. So we'll have local bands playing from, I think, Lee High School, Monument Mountain High School, just playing those typical tunes that you might hear, and then they're all coming together to play one single song while we'll be dancing behind them.
I love that.
Yes.
It makes me feel like we should vote for Yo-Yo Ma for president.
I kind of agree.
He's got the thing called We the People.
Yeah. I mean,
he's brought all these people together. It's what the American idea is inspirational to me still, that it could happen this way, even though we've failed so miserably so many times. When somebody like Yo-Yo Ma can galvanize everybody together,
if you don't
bring them to
fail,
Tanglewood.
you can't learn.
Yes.
Well, I guess you're right. We've done a lot of learning then, I guess. But it's going to be a wonderful celebration here, Tanglewood on Parade tonight, and we've been really lucky to talk with so many of the people that are involved in Tanglewood on Parade, including Angela Palmer, president of the Festival Latino of the Berkshires, and Chris Newell, founding director of the Native American Cultural Program at the University of Connecticut, part of the Passamaquoddy peoples of Maine. Thank you both so much for joining us here today on the Fabulous 413.
All right, thank you.
Have a great Tanglewood on Parade.
Thanks for bringing your gifts to the Berkshires.
Yes. On the next Fabulous 413, we will join our friends at CISA, community involved in sustaining agriculture at Just Roots.
We'll also hear from our interim word nerd, Peter Sokolowski.
And we'll go to High Five Books, a kids' bookstore in Florence, and hear about the bookstore crawl that is happening around the 413.
And play with babies.
And we'll play with babies. And we'll hear Khalees's children's book, a little bit of it as well. I'm Monty Belmonte.
I'm Khalise Smith. We'll see you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.